and welcome to our continuing saga and discussion on your lives and the various methods that can be utilized to enhance them considerably. During the course of his work, my psychic is consulted by many individuals from every socio-economic stratum of your society. It came to his attention, and thus also to my attention, that many individuals out there in the real world were having difficulty in generating the necessary income and financial sustenance necessary to manifest their dreams and to live their visions. Though I am not from your world or from your dimension, I understand that in my work of educating those of your kind on your planet, it is necessary to be able to preview the whole spectrum of human existence. It came to the realization on my behalf that if aspirants that wish to facilitate improvement in their lives and the development of mental properties that at one time seemed beyond their reach, they needed to be able to reduce the stress level associated with prosperity and posterity. In some ways that perhaps you have not conceived, the power of your thoughts directly intersect with the exterior world in many unseen ways. And so it is to this subject once again that I must in turn return to answer some of your concerns and your questions regarding prosperity. In many of my discourses and my discussion with those of you who come to me, I have repeatedly referred to the power of your own mind, and for you to be alert and become increasingly aware up here within your physical brain of the suggestions that you feed into yourself daily. I am going to try to describe the cycle in consciousness, the psychology of manifestation to you in simple terms that humanoids will easily comprehend within their psychological vocabulary. Generally, the suggestions that you gave yourself 24 hours ago are being manifested at this moment in your experience. If you could stop for just a minute and look back over the thoughts that you were thinking and the emotions that you were realizing, the physical sensations that was paired with these processes 24 hours ago, you would find there is a direct correlation between your current emotional state, your state of receptivity, and your state of responsiveness to your immediate physical scenario and its psychological components. Between, again, what you were thinking 24 hours ago and what is happening in your life right at this moment, leaving room for some unsuspected occurrences, you will find that your psychological state is a combination of different mental inputs that you are receiving neurologically. Several times a day, from the time that you wake up from what you call sleep until in the evening when you return once again to the world of true wakefulness or the world of dreams, you will have given yourself several thousand suggestions in the course of that one day to students of the mind and so-called metaphysics, a popular term coined some time ago in your civilization. There has always been some form of intuitive connection between the mind and the world of physical matter that surrounds you. Usually unexpressed concerns within your mind that boil on their own burner in the back of your consciousness will set off waves of energy that will actually influence your life events. These unexpressed, only partially expressed, insufficiently ventilated thoughts that are not confronted and faced will materialize sometimes much more quickly because of the energy that is gathered behind them than your dominant thoughts in your conscious mind that you wish to intentionally plow through the rubble in your life and cause them to manifest. Why is this? What kind of psychological mechanic would be involved in the cycle of your daily thinking that would cause those things you morbidly, secretly fear in the back of your mind to manifest with greater expediency than those thoughts that you intend to make happen in the physical world, and manifesting your dreams, desires, and fulfilling your basic obligations as human beings in your social world? The fact is that unexpressed thoughts are equally, if not more powerful than expressed thoughts, the thoughts that the I self has given okay for you to pursue. A fear, for instance, of losing work may in fact bring swiftly that event about. In previous discussions, I talked about the different types of emotions and inner sensations that are the companions of your thoughts. How your thoughts cause certain emotional complexes to rise into your consciousness and recede again into the background. Unsimulated fears on your behalf gather around them various types of electromagnetic energy beyond the spectrum of the capability of the physical eyes to perceive. Your modern sciences are only just now beginning to have any respect for reality, and the subtle influences that play a vastly more significant role in your life than anything concrete that you can witness with your paramount physical senses of significance. Invisible things, those things that you cannot see in your life, are every bit as profound and moving and impactful as those things that you can consciously manipulate with your externally oriented egos, that portion of yourself that is meant to apprehend and interact with the external world in connection of the soul to the body, must act through various ego structures. That structure of psychological gestalt or sensation that makes you separate from the chair that you may be sitting on, the floor or rug beneath your feet, or the ocean surf that you may be swimming in, is called basically, in simplified terms, the ego. The ego is a stratum of comprehensions within the brain. How do all of these different elements that I have mentioned in your terms in the last few minutes have an impact on your income level? They have everything to do with your income level. The subliminal signals that you are giving to others around you are much more powerful than the words you actually verbalize. The aura, the mystique, the color of your personality shines through with a greater fluency and brilliancy and impactfulness than the words that you use and string together to make sentences to impress each other or to generate a response in another around you. Your true feelings are broadcast loud and clear. In particular, those feelings about yourself that you wish to conceal are broadcast the loudest. If you have untapped and unanalyzed and unassimilated aspects of your personality that you do not approve of in your life, the results of this non-approved self can sometimes be catastrophic in non-specific terms, at least within this discussion. A general air of depression, rather than a specific, definite something that can be manipulated and changed, is much more toxic if left unfaced. then those things that are relatively tangible within your psychological and physiological experience that you can do something about. You know how to steer a car and keep it from going off a cliff, provided its working parts are working. However, you don't know how to wrestle a ghost to the ground, because it is non-physical. You are used to manipulating things. These are ego functions that need to influence and control others and your environment to predetermine your vision and to materialize it substantially to various degrees in the physical world takes determination and concentration, focus, and application of effort. But equally important is your aura. These things that you hear so much about in your mystery schools and in your spiritual books is not a metaphysical concept, a metaphor. In this discussion, it is a tangible field of energy that works to manifest your good thoughts as well as your bad. Now, this does not mean that you should go around trying to suppress your bad thoughts. That is why they manifested physically in the first place. By the time a manifestation takes place in your physical experience, it has gone through a full cycle of checks and balances at each step of the way. You could have stepped in and changed the outcome. When you are working on evolving your personal awareness, you realize this and you begin to see how your actions in the present create a future. A very definite future for you, coming from an indefinite state of potentialities into a definite, tangible, real, impactful, immediately alive condition in your life experience. The fear of losing work, for instance, can swiftly bring that about. The fear of having an accident that is not directly interceded by the powers of the conscious intellect can bring forth just such an accident. This does not mean that you should live in fear of the powers of your mind. Fear is what you got you into the difficulties in the first place. Unchallenged, unassimilated fear. Those things that you are scared to tell people because you fear they will manifest are swiftly on their way to manifesting in some fashion in the spectrum of your life experience. How do you counteract this? In previous discussions on videos on celluloid, I have told you that you need to admit your fears to yourself and to some trusted companion in the external world to find some way of projecting that fear and getting feedback from the fear so it does not take on its own form and begin to dominate your motivations and to shape your life experience. Having a thought of killing your boss is not the same as physically killing your boss, but an unexpressed thought of that nature could lead to him to have an accident that would injure him physically, psychologically, or remove him from your dimension quite effectively. This is called unconscious witchcraft, you might say. There are those upon your planet who consciously practice various psychical arts and psychological exercises that expand the capacities of the human species mind within the individual, and they can intentionally will and act like this to occur. They remove their inhibitions and take the stoppers out and remove the checks and balances, and their desires are forthwithly, straightforwardly manifest immediately within their life experience. You do this every day. If you are having a so-so day, pay attention to the thoughts that you have been having 2 days or a day preceding the day that is a so-so day, and you will see how you directly contributed to the hour in your life that you are experiencing now. Your thoughts have electrical qualities about them. Similar thoughts tend to congregate together within your mind, and if you believe in good and evil or light and dark forces, if this is not checked, it can get out of control. Some of you are simply mentally lazy. You do not question your thoughts or the suggestions that you are accepting, internalizing, and digesting, assimilating from others around you. You let them control your life only because you do not question what they tell you. Some of you are more proficient at this than others. We are not going to get into a full analytical discussion of just how this works. What this is boiling down to is this. If there are suggestions that you do not like in your life experience, various situations with various components that you find offensive, that cause fear in you, you need to discuss them with a close friend. To those in you that believe in a higher force in your life, then discuss it with this higher force. Whoever you feel that you can trust, and let the fear be evaporated in your discussion, at least reduced to a minor problem rather than a major potential catastrophe. Many families in your world, in your mainstream modern society, that appear so perfect on the outside have many suppressed feelings like anger, resentment, fear, madness, irritability, stress, and they hide these realities from themselves and thus never learn the correct techniques required to dissipate these kinds of feelings. Not only does this result in appearances on afternoon talk shows about suing your father or mother 20 years earlier, it causes emotional damage to you. To hold on to these types of emotions, the worst thing you could do is feel angry and not express it in some fashion. Now, learning how to regulate the expression of anger or frustration or stress is another issue. If you can wait patiently till you get off work so you don't blow up on your boss and get fired that way, this is good for you. But if you continue to suppress fear or anger or stress or some other foreboding, and not express it, it will grow very big inside of you, and by the time it becomes a physical manifestation in your life, there had been many opportunities that you could have stepped in and prevented the evolution of this forthcoming event. Once it is physically materializing, unless you are highly evolved, you will simply have to put up and live within those circumstances until they pass. Use other techniques to dissipate these energies. Again, how does this relate to and boil down to your financial status in your world? For those of you that are millionaires and feel that you are poor, and those of you that are much wealthier than millionaires and feel that you are poor because you have so many bills. The money did not eliminate the bills. It is an imbalance in perception, behavior, and receptivity. For those of you that want to be millionaires, a small amount of cash in your world today, easy to come up with for those in the right state of mind. You do not need a high school degree. You need not have a wealthy uncle or aunt that would set you up in business. How do you materialize within your physical life those things that you would have, that would grant you the status that you crave on a physical level, on a social level, that would bring you greater security within your life? First of all, it is very important that you empty your mind and your heart of prejudice against those who have these things. How do you do that? All rich people are not sinners. They are not all bad. They did not all claw their way to the top, taking advantage of the weak, the meek, and the sincere. There are quite a few very genuine, prosperous, overabundant personalities. To bring greater prosperity and abundance into your life, in a general sense, you must change your mindset and be willing to try some new things. It may mean giving up some of your deeply addictive personality traits. Your addiction to certain personal concepts that have served you well unto this point, but may have indeed kept you quite impoverished, if not financially, then perhaps romantically or even spiritually. How do you go about this? You make an honest assessment with your conscious mind about your current situation, and then you admit the following truth: I'm responsible for what's happening to me. Those people in my life experience that helped put me here were assisting me in fulfilling my script and my role. When you can get this kind of candid honesty, then you are ready to change things. Sometimes it is your wife that's depleted your bank account and now you are in debt and not wealthy anymore. Sometimes it was the husband or one of your children who got a hold of one of your credit cards and emptied your account. Perhaps you make the great mistake of sharing your account with your mate. In some situations, this has a note of validity. Within the marriage relationship, you lose your sense of space and perspective, and you blend everything together and you say what is mine is hers, and what is hers is mine, or what is his is mine, and what is mine is his. Or if you are the traditional American male, you will say what is hers is mine, and what is mine is mine. Certain lines of psychological demarcation have to be set up in your life experience, even between those that you love. You do not want everyone to have access to your account, just like you do not want everyone to know what you are thinking, like I do. Why? In the world in which you live, there are those that would use the knowledge they gain of you from such processes, possibly to compete with you and to reduce your chances for success. But all of this stems from a personal belief in inadequacy, in lack, in fear of the work required to generate success, and your own fear of fear itself will inhibit your prosperity. Those undiscussed and secret fears and desires that you do not share with others can be much more deadly to you financially and to your friends than the things you quite bluntly share with them when you've relaxed, perhaps for an afternoon drink at your local pub, bar and grill. The things that are open and that you are honest about are much less likely to come back to you in your life 20 years later and cause you problems than the things you are quiet about today. The secrecy vibration in the energy field, like whispering, commands attention. When you whisper, people have to stop doing what they're doing and get closer to you and zero in on you to understand you. When you talk very loud, they can hear you, and they don't need to strain to hear your voice over the competitive noise in the environment. It is the same concept within your energy field. What you secretly keep to yourself and do not share with appropriate individuals within your life is broadcast louder than anything that you scream. An example would be a teenage male who has what do you call acne, who has pits and tries to wear his sister foundation to cover it up, and he uses the wrong color because he is in a hurry, and they stand out twice as loud on the school bus, and hence the bullies give him a hard time and reinforce his anxiety complex. He may or may not ever get over the episode, depending on his family's value system and inner politics. A simple example, very simple, that applies to all of you, however. The things that you try to hide, for instance, owing tax money, will affect your income level later. Now, I am not saying that you should necessarily agree with all of the laws of your land and giving every cent that you have to Caesar, when Caesar has not treated you well enough to deserve such a adoration and love from you. What I am saying is this. You have to be as honest as you can possibly be in your world and express more than you are now if you wish to get ahead. If you wish to be wealthy one day, the best thing that you can do if you are not already physically wealthy is to learn how to be wealthy psychologically. Learn how to think as a wealthy person. Sure, in your behavior will automatically attract those that are wealthy to you. If you are a hick from the sticks and you think like a Louisiana boy, you will not attract massive wealth that is clean money, though you may be able to accumulate considerable money from the underworld, which will then get the law on your behind. You have a value system within your universe, and you all consign and consensually agree to live within that value system and to play the game. There is no use in trying to fight it. You cannot fight something so large that so many millions upon millions of untold individuals on your world believe in. Since this is a reality, instead of trying to fight it or create your own way, why not come to the middle ground and understand that there are certain realities you must contend with. You cannot ignore them. Ignoring something that could cause you difficulty in your future is equivalent to suppressing valuable knowledge. And suppressing the expression of valuable knowledge makes it worthless in your life experience. Every time you suppress the expression of a fear in your life, you also suppress the expression of an ability that would counteract that fear in your life experience. A very important point that is not moved. Very significant. If you have a friend, a relative, an employer, an acquaintance, living or dead, that you have something to say to, but you do not because you do not wish to hurt them or be hurt in return, you are indeed in a dilemma, for such types of psychological episodes on your behalf will be seen in your life experience. It will affect the flow of your emotions, the spontaneity of your communications, and dramatically reduce your income level. If not in the immediate present, then indeed in the foreseeable future. So what do you need to do to start the ball rolling in your direction so that you have more money to work with? Well, one way, my friends, for you to do this is to spend a few minutes pretending that you have a lot of money every day for at least 30 days in a row. The concept behind this is as follows. Many of you erroneously believe that you must be hypnotized and taken to either a light trance or a somnambulistic trance, the deepest, almost a sleepwalking trance, possible by a professional hypnotist to learn new behaviors, to access the information in your subconscious. Well, I am here to say to you there is no such thing as subconscious. What is subconscious one moment is conscious the next. You do not need to go to a licensed professional to understand the makings of your own mind. You begin right now by being honest with all of your feelings and letting them flow out of you and expressing them with your vocal cords as they come to you. They need not come in any particular order. This is called a confession, an admission, and a psychic cleansing. This will cause the liberations of hormones from your pituitary gland. That gland that is very strongly affected by your thoughts, those expressed and those that remain hidden and unexpressed. Thoughts that are unexpressed cause hormonal suppression that can lead to physical or psychiatric or financial illness in the future. Your worst enemy in your life is not expressing what is on your mind. You are indeed in a quandary if you live in a life circumstance where you live in fear of expressing your truthful feelings and thoughts, and you indeed have no friends, if this is the case. For a friend is someone you can be who you are with without fear of discipline resulting from spontaneous communication. You assume, and you know, as the friendship contract reads, that you can trust them not to spread your feelings to those that could hurt you with them. Again, how does this all come back around to prosperity in your physical experience? If you are hoarding and holding on to money and you stop the flow of money leaving you, you will also eventually stop the flow of money coming to you in your life experience. That does not mean you should go on a credit card shopping spree and blow your bank account. That means with a definite goal in mind, you should deliberately spend a certain amount of money every day, and in your mind pretend that it comes back to you multiplied at least by 3 times. If that's too small, then ad infinitum. Use your imagination. You are responsible in your world for your emotional and financial as well as romantic fulfillment. Again, that may mean that you have to let go or alter some of your deeply embedded concepts and ideas about how things are supposed to work. When you are in deep need or financial crisis, you turn to your gods of your religions or your spirit guides, and then you ask for help, and this is not the time that you should ask for help. You ask for help by doing. The gods help those who help themselves is a literal truth. If you had been helping yourself all along the way, you would have automatically received more assistance and be in less of a bad condition than you could conceivably be today. Foresight, insight, hindsight. 3 very important concepts that you must use in your physical world to be happy and satisfied. Whether it be in predicting the outcome of an emotional relationship, when you will get your raise, get fired, have a child that is male or female, whether you should marry, all of these things are determined by the way that you use 3 very simple human faculties: the intuition, the memory, and your cognitive processes. The way that you put information together within your mind and your personal beliefs have a powerful effect on your reality. It will repel certain opportunities from you and attract other opportunities to you. When you change your mind, you automatically change your circumstances. Why? You change the emissions in the endocrine system. You change the hormone level within your body. This will either increase or decrease your conscious awareness, and your level of awareness and available surplus of vitality and emotional fuel will determine how quickly you respond to opportunities that present themselves to you in your life experience. Every one of my friends that are watching me on the celluloid has had several hundred opportunities for financial enrichment in the last year. You may want to think about that. You have had several hundred opportunities for financial enrichment in the last year. Some of you will be saying, "Oh, is that so, and what were they?" That is your prerogative. In the next year, you will have several hundred other opportunities for financial enrichment, and every dollar will take you either closer to being a millionaire or closer to the poorhouse. Well, what does all this boil down to? Some of you are paycheck addicted, codependent. Your entire livelihood depends upon your paycheck. Obviously, whether or not you are making money with your current occupation, when you are paycheck codependent, you may get a fairly predictable salary, but not sufficient funds to start a new business that could profit you. Well, why would that be the case? Because you all grow into the amount of money that you make and you get sloppy. You become so comfortable with the amount of money that you make that you soon need it, where only 10 years ago, even with inflation, you did not need the amount of money that you are making today. One sure way then to increase your prosperity is not to need the amount of money that you are making. This is the first mistake and the most profound mistake that is usually made by those who are on a prosperity streak. They instantly go out and buy all of those things on an impulse that they think they need to experience pleasure in their lives. This to compensate for the stress and anxiety they felt when they could not afford the items. But was the deficiency or lack of these physical items represented by cash flow in the physical life the cause of the anxiety, and will spending that money actually make you feel better tomorrow? If you spend money willy-nilly, you are not having a love affair with money. And what you love, you usually have plenty of in your life if you love correctly. If you love incorrectly, you probably have less of it than you desire. There is an unspoken law within the universe that when you do things correctly, things work out for you. There are many variations on this law, and you each personify this law within your own psychological and emotional makeup. The way that you behave, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, where you work, who you marry and sleep with all have a profound effect on your prosperity level. There are certain colors that if worn regularly will guarantee that you wind up in the poorhouse. Why is this, you may ask? Again, it has to do with what you call the human energy field. All living organisms upon your planet are composed of energy, and the energy field that is so often spoken of is an energy field that lies just beyond visual perception but carries the scent of your body. You can generally tell how big your energy field by how far the stench under your arm floats when you do not use deodorant. If you have a very big energy field and you are a negatively oriented individual, your negative thoughts will be manifest and materialize much faster than the energy field of a weakened individual. There are various reasons for this. Did you know that your thoughts and your emotions release hormones within your bloodstream that affect your smell, and there are scents that will chase away money? There are scents that will chase away wealth and lovers. There is more than a little bit of truth to some of the ancient occult doctrines that are popular in your metaphysical circles concerning the power of scent. If you wish to be a wealthier person tomorrow, sometimes the best thing you could do is shampoo the carpet in your home or change it. Why would that be? Dirt makes money run. We are not talking about simple earth that plants grow up in, but man-made dust and material that accumulates electromagnetic properties that cause static within the energy field. This is a highly complicated subject that I am simplifying, and I cannot go into all of the details in this one setting. But I can give you the tip of many icebergs that you can use to ignite your own intuitive studies and empower yourself financially, romantically, and also spiritually in ways that you may not yet have conceived. You deserve the best in life, so if this is the case, why don't you have it? Having something or wanting to have something and not generating the correct thoughts, attitudes, and consequential behavior to create it are two different things. You can want John and never have him if you do not grow into a behavioral type of personality that will attract John. It is more important that you focus sometimes on what you will do with the money that you will have, how you will spend it. Begin to think in ways of how can I make my dollar grow and make it $2. Numerous resources coming into your hands constantly, small amounts of money from different sources, will eventually equal a big pile of money if you are not dissipating the money at the rate that you are making it. It takes a lot less money than you may suppose to be successful in your marketplace today. Many individuals get sufficient funds simply by getting a loan against their home. This is not a lot of money, but if you live on the streets, you could perceive it as a lot of money. Some of you will be able to appreciate that statement. Wealth is a psychological condition. If you have the correct psychological qualities within your emotional makeup, you will be wealthy, and you will stay wealthy. And if you lose it, you will quickly be wealthy again within a short time. If you do not have the correct qualities, you will either lose your wealth, dissipate your wealth, or find some other way to make conditions such that they perfectly mirror and match your self-image. If for some reason you believe that money and prosperity is evil, then you will not put your best foot forward in generating additional financial resources within your life experience. Every one of my watches and the listeners today is a potential billionaire. In the course of 1 year, you have more money flow through your hands than you believe. Just becoming aware of the laws of money can make a big difference in your personal experience. You spend more on eating out than you believe you do. You spend more on clothes that will not make you more money than you believe you do. You spend more money, period, than you believe you do, and at the end of the month, when you tally it up, you find, quite to your shock, that you cannot believe how much money was spent through your hands and did not go to bills or to relieving debt, but on irrelevancies that did not make you money. Your suggestion to yourself then, once every 24 hours for a few minutes, once a day, whether in the daylight or at night, should be that in every way I am becoming more conscious of how to double my money. If you are constantly striving for 365 days for 1 year to double your money, I guarantee that at the end of that year, if you are not foolish and get involved with get-rich quick schemes, you will have a hell of a lot more money in your bank account than you did the previous year. It is also extremely important that you understand that what you dwell on, you magnetically create and attract to you. If you are constantly pessimistic and believe that the worst will happen and you do not dissipate this energy, then there will be experiences within your life that will justify this idea. If you are impatient and want to get too much done at once, everything will indeed seem to move slower and be less gratifying than it is. So your perspective and your mental patterns, your psychological condition have everything to do with how much money you have. Why is this, my friends? This is because as human beings within physical bodies, your personality equals your destiny. Your personality will determine what kind of work you will gravitate to, who you are comfortable with, what kind of clothes you will wear, and what kind of social pressure you can withstand or work with. If you want more money in your life, there are certain habits of consciousness, character traits that you must be willing to expose and change. In the beginning of this discussion, I said, and I have stated more than once throughout this discussion, why? Because it is extremely pertinent and you cannot ignore it. If you are willing to change for what you want, you can have it. If you are wealthy, however, and you do not want to change, you can also have it. But many of you are not in that type of situation or condition. To get what you want, you must be willing to change for it. You must have a regular mantra that you repeat about money. A repetitive mental idea said with conviction behind it can be very powerful. Like an arrow, it can penetrate resistance in your life experience. The worst thing you could do is walk through your day concerned that you will think the wrong thing. This will depower and de-energize the force and creativity, the vitality of your own thoughts. The best thing that you could do if you are mad is to say it and get it out of your system so it does not grow into a big demon in your life and devour your bank account. Or attract events and circumstances into your life that will cause you to need to devour your bank account. How much trouble could it possibly be for you to sit back a few times a day and visualize a few $1 million with your name attached to it? And now sit back and say, how many self-help books have you read? And how many of the techniques have you actually consistently applied? And I will tell you how much success you have had. I can talk till my psychic is blue in the face and is expended from your planet by cardiac arrest. And you will never be one iota wealthier if you are not willing to listen and to take to heart some things that I am communicating to you. To attract wealth into your life, you also must be willing to do a little bit of social climbing. The largest amount of wealth on your planet is contained in very few hands. The majority of consciousness on your planet of human individuals are want-to-bes. The others are haves. Many of these others that are haves, that have the position, the possessions, the wealth, the friends that you want, were want-to-bes at one time. And the secret is that they learn how to think like a wealthy person. How do you learn how to think like a wealthy person? You use your intuition and you visualize somebody that you know within your mind that has everything that you want financially. And you either try to make friends with them or you spiritually communicate with their energy field by visualizing their body for about 5 minutes a day. That is all that is required to stimulate the intuition and the imagination. You will suddenly begin to sense thoughts that are peculiar to you. They are different. They feel unusual. Do not make the mistake of assuming that you are possessed when this occurs. It is a natural phenomena. You pick up all of your friends' thoughts all of the time, and individuals will only hang around you in your physical life when they are comfortable with your self-image. If your self-image is a threatening, they will leave your life experience unless they like a challenge. So it is extremely important that you be consistently seeing yourself with the cars, the homes, the clothes, the possessions that having money represents to you. If this is done correctly, you will indeed attract the material equivalent of your thoughts, of your emotions. Many individuals that are megastars today, many of which that I know personally in your world and that my psychic is privileged to work with, were in the poorhouse once. No one would speak to them or give them the time of day. But the stress in their lives and the desire within their hearts caused them to instinctively tune in to a behavioral formula that generated astounding success and megastardom. No matter who you are, your situation cannot be any worse than some of these individuals we are discussing was when they were in the poorhouse. To attract more money to you, you must change your concepts about money. You must change your ideas about the people that have money. That does not mean that you must sell out and sell your soul to the devil to attain this money. That you must give up your deeply valued principles entirely, only restructure them a little at a time as you are comfortable. In your mind, when you wake up from bed, 3 times say, I am wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. I have overabundance in my life experience. I have overabundance in my life experience. I have overabundance in my life experience. When the clock strikes 12 noon, repeat the process. I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy. I have overabundance. I have overabundance. I have overabundance. Upon retiring, say to yourself, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy. I have overabundance. I have overabundance. I have overabundance. After about 30 days, you will find that you begin to have intuitions, thoughts, and inspirations that are again very different than your usual mindset. If you add this very simple, unbelievably simple exercise, so simple anyone could do it, to the practice of visualizing a wealthy person that has things that you would like to have, it will doubly enhance the effectiveness of each procedure and process. More specific techniques I can give you on an individual basis and in separate videos. These is the tips of the icebergs of the information that I can bring you. One thing is for sure, I know a sufficiently large number of wealthy people, perhaps more than you will ever meet in your lifetime, that I can guarantee that the principles that I am communicating to you are used consciously and intentionally or unintentionally, but nevertheless used by those who have gone from being mediocre wealthy to quite wealthy. In future videos, I will communicate to you additional methods that will make a difference in your life experience as regards the accumulation of personal wealth, romance, and fulfillment, and the development of certain psychic prowess and psychic capacities that right now may be latent, just waiting for you to open the door in your mind. If you do not approach any of these exercises with an open mind, you will guarantee failure for any technique that you use. You are ruler of your destiny and you create your reality absolutely. Those of you who are willing to take responsibility for the fact that you are responsible for your happiness and your misery are headed in the right direction toward improving your life experience. If you feel that your past, your childhood, your lack of education, and your current income level are responsible for your failure, then you have some work that you have to do. That would be approximately about half of the people who will at any time watch this particular video series. Now I would suggest a break in communication for my psychic. We do not want to overexhaust his cerebrium. I wish all of my viewers the happiness that they shall richly deserve, and it is indeed yours, like I always say, when you reach for it. Now, in closing, I would like to wrap up this discussion by saying that it does not matter who you are or who you think you are. There are wealth potentials that exist within your mind and nervous system that you need to learn to awaken. And you do this by establishing a regular ritual of saying some form of constructive affirmation several times a day on a regular basis. It may take some of you a while to achieve the goals that you have set yourself financially. Because I am not with you personally, I cannot go into personal life scenarios on this tape. Such services are saved for those situations when you commune with me spiritually, by letter, by phone, or with my psychic in person, with mutual consent. In the beginning of this tape, I said that your current emotional state is the direct result of some things that you were thinking and experiencing emotionally approximately 24 hours ago. It takes approximately a suggestion to work through your psychic system approximately 24 hours. A full solar cycle from sunrise to sunset, from nightfall to daybreak, approximately 24 Earth hours for your neurological system to process mental suggestions that you are deliberately or accidentally force-feeding yourself on a regular basis. And the results will be seen soon in your life experience. This is a highly sophisticated subject, and the ways that you do these things are equally as varied. But I have wagered in this particular video to touch upon some very important issues. You may need to watch this video several times to hear all that I said within my sentences. Every word, my friends, was said deliberately and is multi-dimensional in connotation. It is meant to serve all of you. My words are not flat and weak and of little merit, but life-changing. Throughout my existence, I have been an educator in many worlds and to many peoples, human and non-human alike. It is my purpose to serve you to the best of your ability to accept such service. Make yourself ready for financial abundance, overabundance, beginning now by practicing some of the very simple techniques that I have mentioned to you. It will take you an individual span or period of time to begin to notice effects and to become ritualistic, religious in your application of some of these techniques. But once you do, the results are darn well worth it. In 24 hours from now, what will you be feeling, thinking, and experiencing financially? Only you can be the judge of that. If deliberately today you continue to repeat silently or aloud, in private, in your own way, that you are wealthy, you will eventually begin to feel like a wealthy person, and your feelings will radiate out of your body into the social world around you and attract situations that will make you wealthy. With that, my friends, we are going to terminate this communication. I am with you in my thoughts, and I wish you those gratitudes that are mine to give. You do indeed create your personal reality by what you do, but equally as importantly, by what you don't do. Until we meet again, salutations.
Mystic Broadcast Network. Tune in to the Mystic Broadcast of oneness emanating from every point in the universe.